What's up everyone, David here, and after hearing lots of people talking about one particular game, which you do know what I'm going to talk about since you've read the title, I thought, man, I need to do this video. I really need to tell you guys why I am 95% certain that Persona 5 Arena isn't happening anytime soon. And I do have a guest, someone who very often makes his point clear, saying that once again, Persona 5 Arena is not coming anytime soon. So the way that I'm going to do it is very simple. I am going to give my arguments of why I don't think it's happening, and my guest will also tell you guys why he doesn't think it's happening. So let's jump right into it. If you don't know already, on August 7, 2012, Atlus's P Studio and Arc System Works finally decided to release their collaboration with the release of Persona 4 Arena, which is of course a Persona 4 spin-off. Persona 4 Arena is a very good fighting game with the Persona 4 roster. This game has a very dedicated fan base since it is considered a very good fighting game in the community. When you type in Persona 4 Arena on YouTube, you do see a lot of tournaments, you do see a lot of people who create content only about Persona 4 Arena. I mean, while there's not a lot of fans of this particular game, the fans of those games are extremely invested in the games, which is why we keep hearing people asking for Persona 5 Arena, because those fans, they're saying what they want. They're invested in the 4 Arena game. In February of 2020, last year, we got a lot of sales number for the Persona series. And it was including Persona 4 Arena and also Arena Ultimax, which is the re-release for 4 Arena. The original Persona 4 Arena came out on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 worldwide, and also the arcades in Japan only. After 8 years of release, the lifetime Japanese sales as of 2020 were of roughly 200,000 copies, sold across all the systems that it was on. These numbers do count physical and digital copies, but for Japan only. Since this is a very niche Japanese fighting game, I definitely don't think the worldwide numbers would top 300,000 copies. And I'm being generous here. So, the first argument that I want to make is that Arc System Works' popularity is up the roof at the moment. Back in 2012, at the moment of release of Persona 4 Arena, Arc System Works wasn't nearly as popular as they are right now. They work on smaller IPs such as Guilty Gear or BlazBlue and much more. Those IPs definitely have some invested fan bases. Once again, but once again, they're not big sellers. Those IPs, back in the day, they were considered very good. Our System Works makes great content, makes great games, but they're not big sellers, or at least they weren't. Now, since the release of Persona 4 Arena Ultimax in 2013, they worked on way bigger IPs and they've had a lot of massive sellers. BlazBlue spiked in popularity, but the biggest seller that they had is easily the Dragon Ball IP games. Games like Dragon Ball Z Extreme Butoden on the 3DS did pretty well. Nothing too impressive, but it did pretty well. But most importantly, Dragon Ball FighterZ, or Dragon Ball Fighters, whatever you want to call it. This game, on the day of recording this video, 2021, is still going extremely strong. It's still selling copies, and there's still DLC coming out in the near future. So this game, even if it released 3 years ago, is still going strong. Dragon Ball FighterZ is not only the best Arc System Works selling game, it is also the fastest selling Dragon Ball game of all time. And that is extremely impressive since Dragon Ball is a massive IP. Believe it or not, this game sold over 2 million copies, so definitely some very big numbers for this game. The last sales numbers that we do have for Dragon Ball FighterZ or Dragon Ball Fighters are from May 2020, and the game topped 5 million units sold. So yeah, we're very far from the 200,000 copies that Persona 4 Arena sold. The next point that I want to bring is talking about the fact that Arc System Works, their popularity spiked, as I just mentioned, and they're actually busy working on very, very big games at the moment, way bigger games than a Persona 5 Arena would ever be. At the moment, they just recently revealed that they're working on a game called DNF Duel, Dungeon and Fighter Duel, and they're also working on Guilty Gear Strive. The point that I'm trying to make here is that they reached a well-known status as a developer that makes them very attractive for various different developers to ask them to create a fighting game for them. For example, Bandai Namco with a fighting game such as Dragon Ball FighterZ. And I'm very confident that what they're charging now for a project is extremely more than what they charged back in the day when Atlus reached out to them for a Persona 4 Arena. Now, to hire a company like Omega Force and Koei Tecmo to work on a game like Persona 5 Strikers was probably way less expensive than to ask Arc System Works to create a Persona 5 Arena. So I do think that Strikers is probably the replacement for Arena, which brings me to my next argument that I do want to talk about is the fact that I think Atlus is done with Persona 5 spin-offs. And I know that this is a controversial take, but hear me out. Listen to what we had when it comes to Persona 4. With Persona 4, we had Persona 4 Arena and Ultimax. We also had Persona 4 Dancing. We had Persona 4 Golden. It is a stretch, but you could also count Persona Q, which makes for 4 Persona 4 spin-offs. And with Persona 5, we've had Royal, we've had Dancing. We also had Persona Q2, which once again is a stretch, and Persona 5 Strikers. So once again, 4 spin-offs. Do that mean that it's 4-4 and there's no chances that they do another one? No, it doesn't. But I just feel like 4 spin-offs is probably enough when it comes to what Atlus wants to do with the IP. Plus, they've been working on other titles at the moment. They are working on various different projects for the 25th anniversary of the Persona series, which we've been talking about in the last few videos. Check them out if you're interested. Which all of this makes me think that they're probably done with Persona 5 and we're gonna start to see new stuff in the near future, or maybe older ports for games like Persona 4 or 3 that isn't on consoles or PC for 3, for example. Maybe they will bring back 1 and 2 at some point. I know that a lot of you guys would like that. I would personally like that a lot, so that would be great. Now I will send the ball to my friend Spencer from SMT Network, who is going to tell you his point of view and his arguments about why we don't think Persona 5 Arena is happening anytime soon.
Hey everybody, Spencer here from Shin, Megami, Tensei Network, and I just wanted to give my 2 cents about Persona 5 Arena, otherwise known as that game that is 100% not happening and I'm ready to be wrong any day. So, as many of you may know, Arc System Works is an incredibly talented fighting game studio who has worked on tons and tons of different properties, ranging from Dragon Ball Z, to Guilty Gear, to BlazBlue, and even terrible titles such as Cross Tag Battle. Sorry, also kinda not sorry. Basically, the ongoing thing with Arena that is the real heartbreaker is everyone wants it. The people who worked on the original Arena and Ultimax want it to happen. I'm even sure there's some people at Atlus who want it to happen. We just have to come to the reality, though, that Arc System Works as a company is too busy and is working with too many bigger companies. Obviously, we have things like Dragon Ball FighterZ is still getting DLC into its 3rd season. Guilty Gear Strive is just a matter of months away, which is going to be one of their first really big next-gen self-published titles. And on top of that, Arc System Works even now announced that they're working on a dungeon fighter fighting game, which is going to be taking up a lot of their time on top of other side projects, whether they be big or small, but those 3 alone are going to be taking up most of the core staff and people who could really be working on the game. Now, as I joked about it earlier, the core staff who really worked on Ultimax, a lot of them also went and worked on Cross Tag Battle. Cross Tag Battle was a really ambitious idea for a fighting game crossover, but unfortunately had the technical budget of a Mugen mod. So while it had a lot of features and characters crossing over like BlazBlue, Under Night, and Persona, all of these game series coming together for one giant fighting game, the sales were an all-time low, not only for Persona standards, but even for Arc System standards. And it was just basically a one giant, hey, here's a big reason why not to do anything for Persona 5 Arena. Now, obviously, the next Persona fighting game doesn't even have to be Persona 5 Arena. I think most fans would just prefer take the entire series and just make it a Persona or even just a SMT Arena-like game idea. But I think just for most casual fans, it makes most sense to just think, oh, they'll take the new one and make a fighting game out of it. Also, really important to remember, less so important with Arc System Works, but we have to really face the facts that Persona 5 spin-offs have just not been very profitable. The animation was a pretty big failure for most parts. Dancing in Starlight, while being a fun rhythm game to me personally, definitely did not sell anywhere near what they were expecting, and the only non-mainline game that's really caught any attention and sold them very well is Scramble, and I'm sure will do even better when it comes out in the rest of the Western world with Strikers. So Atlus is in no real hurry to prove, hey, let's look at this franchise that has done pretty middling sales for non-mainline titles and make a fighting game. Something that has repeatedly showed through various other companies is very, very hard to not only make well, but also make financially viable. So as much as I would love to be wrong, I just cannot see Arc System Works or Atlus teaming up anytime soon for a Persona fighting game. But like I said, I'm ready to be wrong. I just don't think it's going to happen anytime soon.
Thank you all so much for watching this video, and thank you, Spencer, for your collaboration on this video. I do appreciate that a lot. And as always, guys, if you want to support the channel, a thumbs up helps. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing. Thank you all for watching, and see you next time.